Hi everyone, Lee here from Yoga Spot. Welcome once again. I hope your day is going okay, and I hope you're actually going okay through this whole pandemic. Never a good time in life really to schedule a pandemic, but here we all are. So I'm trying to choose nice days and do this outside and with some semi-scenic views, if you like, of our farm. And hopefully if anyone is in a small apartment or in isolation, hopefully this sense of space, nature, sunshine gives you some component of joy in your day as well. So I hope you are all finding some joy within your day, every day, and also taking the time to express gratitude in your life. Really, as dismal as this might be, there are definitely positives to the isolation, and I hope you're able to find at least 3 positives each day. And if it helps you feel better, try actually writing those down. So for me today, this scenery, sunshine, gardening. So I'll switch now and Chloe will be in the shot. So as always with this style of yoga, best done on an empty stomach with an empty bladder and bowel, and only do what's suitable or comfortable for you. If there's any pain, stop at any time, and feel free to visualise the practice if one of the practices isn't suitable for you. Again, we'll be staying with a gentle theme, hopefully bringing some calmness and flexibility into the body and the mind. So enjoy. And thanks Chloe once again for being a participant in the virtual class. We might start today again in Shavasana. So lying in Shavasana, the relaxation pose, if you've not done yoga before, it's flat on the back on the floor, head and neck in a straight line with the spine, arms a little away from the body, palms facing uppermost, fingers lightly curled, but neither the palms or fingers in contact with anything at all. If you're also unfamiliar with this pose, the arms are about the size of an orange. If you imagine that at the armpits, that's about how far away the arms are from the body. The feet are a bit about hip width apart and falling gently out to the sides. This allows all the muscles of the legs, hips and pelvis to disengage, as well as the muscles of the feet and ankles. Have the eyes and the lips lightly closed and feel into the body lying on the floor or the ground. And have the eyes remaining lightly closed for as much of the class as actually comfortable or possible for you, and allow yourself to feel fully into the body and what the body is actually doing. So with those eyes lightly closed now, take 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And with each outward breath, allow the body to melt or soften into the floor. Letting go with each of those outward breaths. And after the next outward breath, letting go of this practice. And take the awareness now into the feet and toes and notice how they're actually feeling today. If there's any tension, tightness, soreness, heat, pain, coldness. Just noticing how the feet and toes actually feel. Take a long, slow, deep breath in, taking the breath into the feet, toes and ankles, and with the outward breath, softening through the toes, feet and ankles, and releasing any tension or tight spots that you may have noticed there. Use another breath in this manner to that area if you feel you need to. And otherwise, just in your own time, work your way up through the body toward the crown of the head. So the next inward breath might go to the shins, calves and knees. With the outward breath softening fully that area of the body and releasing with that outward breath any tension, tightness or pain that you might have noticed there. Repeating if you need to. Otherwise, with the next inward breath, take the breath and the awareness to the thighs, the front of the thighs, the back of the thighs, hips, pelvis, buttocks, breathing out, softening or releasing into the floor through that area of the body, and consciously letting go of any tension that you might have identified there. Repeating if you need to. And then the next inward breath, taking the breath to the abdominal area, front of the abdomen, the back of the body at the same region as the abdomen. Exhaling, softening, letting go of tension there in either the abdominal muscles, abdominal organs, or the lower back that corresponds with that area of the body. Often a lot of tension held here around the navel, abdominal organs. That saying, worried sick, reflects that area of the body. So let go of all tension here with that outward breath. Taking the next inward breath to the chest, the front of the chest, the back of the chest at the back of the body, ribs, shoulders. Exhaling, bless you, letting go through the chest, both front and back. Next inward breath to the fingers, forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, back of the neck and throat. The entire hands, arms, neck and throat. Letting go into the floor. Taking the next breath to the face, the scalp, the back of the head, the entire head and face, with the outward breath softening, cheeks, lips, eyelids, scalp, back of the head and neck. Letting go of all tension that might be being held in the face, head and neck, around the temples, the eyelids, the forehead, softening, releasing. And notice now, or scan rather, from the toes up to the crown of the head, methodically scanning through the body, noticing if there's any areas of pain, tension or tightness left anywhere. If there is, use the breath along with the awareness to release any such remaining spots. Otherwise, just take the awareness to the breath, the rise and the fall of the chest for a moment or two. Releasing physical tension, perhaps even pain, from the body. Or just focusing on the breath, whichever your body needs at this moment. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice. Hopefully now the physical body relatively free of tension. Bring your awareness or attention now to the mind and notice how you're actually feeling, where your emotions are at, your mental state. Not getting caught up in those thoughts, just acknowledge acknowledge how you are actually travelling. And take now a gentle breath to the mind. Imagine all the thoughts, concerns, worries, anxieties being wrapped up inside that breath or enveloped in the breath, and gently exhale those thoughts, concerns, worries out with the breath. And do this with 2 further gentle breaths. And you may not have any anxieties or concerns. If that's the case, just let go of the thoughts and activities of the day, freeing up the mind. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice if you haven't already. And hopefully now, body and mind, both relatively free of tension, actually ready now for the practice of yoga, unity of body and mind. So those techniques we've just used now, you can use at any time during the day or the night if you're not sleeping well, to just release tension from the body and mind and bring some stillness to both body and mind. And that may be enough to assist you in getting off to sleep, or during the day it may be enough just to reground or recenter you and to take away some of the tension from within the day. If you're at home with children, you could easily do this with children, or while they're busy, you could do it in a quiet room if you have such a space for 5 minutes or so, and just bring some peace and stability back into your day. So preparing now for the gentle warm-ups, just to give the spine in particular a little stretch after having been on the floor now for that time period. Bring the palms to the floor and the arms close into the body. If you've had any supports beneath the head, neck, shoulders, buttocks or knees, and I'm sorry I forgot to say that at the start, so I hope no one's got any back or neck pain because of that, and I hope you've used supports if you've needed to. Taking those out now, if you have. And bring now the soles of both feet to the floor with the knees pointing up toward the ceiling, just in any position that's comfortable for you. Imagine a straight line drawn on the back of the body from the tailbone to a point on the spine at the back of the waist, moving in any way that's comfortable for you today, from the tailbone up to that point on the spine at the back of the waist, and then back down again. Continuing slowly, gently, eyes lightly closed, and have your awareness with the back of the body, feeling this very subtle, gentle movement. If you're having trouble identifying where that point on the spine at the back of the waist is, you might like to imagine a line going straight from the navel through to the spine. That's the point you're moving up to, pausing, and then moving back down to the tailbone. If Chloe moves her left arm above her head, you'll be able to see this movement if you're not aware of how that actually works or what it looks like. It's quite subtle, but it's a very gentle way of stretching and releasing tension from the lower back. So if you suffer with lower back pain or you're doing a lot of sitting during this isolation period, you might find this alone useful. So returning that arm when you're ready, Chloe, so that you're balanced. You can do this movement in time with the breath, breathing in, moving up to the point on the spine at the back of the waist, holding until you're ready to breathe out, breathing out, moving back down to the tailbone. Very subtle, very gentle. Easily done on the lounge room floor at any time if you just want to break from sitting or from your desk. And after the next outward breath, when you come back down to the tailbone, letting go of this movement, just holding in the position you're in and feeling into the back for a moment or two. Bring now the ankles, feet and knees together, and bring both thighs up toward the chest, And clasp the hands around the knees or the shins, whichever's most comfortable for you. And begin making circular movements in a clockwise direction with both knees together. So the knees are moving, thighs are moving. And take the awareness into your lower back and feel that massage type effect of the back against the floor. And begin now to time this movement with the breath. Breathing in when the knees are away from you so that there's room for the lungs to expand within the body. Breathing out as the thighs and knees come toward the chest, so the weight of the legs is actually helping expel air from the lungs. So it's quite slow, it's gentle and rhythmic. After the next outward breath, pausing with the knees at the chest. There's no hurry to get to this point, but when you do, pause there and reverse now the direction, anti-clockwise. Still breathing in when the knees and thighs are away from you. Breathing out as they come toward the chest. So again, quite slow to loosen up the lower back and hip muscles. If you also suffer with wind pain, bloating, constipation, period pain, this is useful for that. Anywhere where the thighs and knees are moving, rotating those abdominal organs in the lower abdomen and pelvic area will help with any of those conditions. So feeling now into those areas, the abdominal and pelvic organs. And after the next outward breath, releasing back to Shavasana, relaxation pose from the start of the class. Legs are outstretched, feet hip width apart and falling gently out to the sides. Arms a little away, palms uppermost, fingers lightly curled. Feeling through the body and the effects of those extremely gentle practices. Bring now the right foot to the floor with the knee pointing toward the ceiling. So the sole of the right foot is on the floor. Bring the left hand on to that right knee or thigh, wherever you can reach. Bring the right foot so it's in contact with the left knee. It can be on the inside of the knee or resting on top of the left leg, whichever's most comfortable for you. Bring the right arm outstretched on the floor at shoulder height and have the palm of the right hand down. So Chloe, if you raise that right arm so everyone can see where it's gone, and palm down at shoulder height. Thank you. Beautiful. On the floor, shoulder height. Excellent. Take the awareness into the hips, lower back, abdominal area. Breathe in. Breathing out, lower the right knee toward the left side of the room, heading toward the floor. Use some pressure through that left hand to assist this. Turn the head and neck to look beyond the right hand. So head and neck one way, right knee and thigh the opposite direction. Feel into the hips, sides, head and neck. When you're ready to breathe in, come back to the starting position. Knee upright, head and neck central or neutral. Take a recovery breath if you need one. Otherwise, when you're ready to breathe out, simply breathe out, rotating or twisting back into the side lying position. Feeling in through the sides of the body, hips, neck, shoulders. Continue in time with your own breath. Breathing in as you come to the upright. Recovery breath if you need, otherwise simply breathing out, moving back in to the position. So again, useful for the spine, neck, hips, lower back. But again, because of the twisting motion through the lower abdominal organs, good for period pain, constipation, bloating. next breath in when you come to the upright, and there's no hurry to get to that point, just time it to your breath. When you do, with the outward breath, release the right leg, release the arms back to Shavasana or relaxation pose. The head and neck should be in the neutral. Allow the feet to move to be hip width apart and fall gently out to the sides. And take a moment to just feel where that practice has affected you. And setting up now to the opposite side, bringing the left foot to the floor and in contact with the right knee or thigh. Right hand onto the left knee or thigh, wherever's comfortable for you to reach. Left arm is outstretched on the floor at shoulder height with the palm down. When you're ready, breathing in, breathing out, taking the left knee to the right side of the room, turning the head and neck to look beyond the fingers of the left arm. Just check that your hand and arm are actually in a straight line, not extending up too high. This puts undue pressure through the shoulders. So even a little lower, Chloe. Beautiful. Feel through the sides of the body, hips, shoulders. When you're ready, breathing in, returning to the neutral. Recovery breath, or when you're ready, breathing out into the twist position. 3 more times in time with your own breath so that you've done then an equal number to each side. Just making sure that you're keeping both shoulders firmly on the floor. This prevents you from over twisting or over rotating in the pose. Should be no pain. If it's unsuitable for you on this side of the body, perhaps let this go, return to Shavasana and visualize the practice in time with your breath. Always paying attention to what's suitable for your body. Time you return to the neutral, with the outward breath, release back to Shavasana. There's no hurry. Once in Shavasana, if you need to, take a long, slow, deep breath to the abdominal or navel area, and with the outward breath, soften the core muscles, the muscles of the sides and back, letting go of any tension that might be being held there. And feel now through the body on the side that it's just been performing that movement. And bring now the palms to the floor, arms close into the body, preparing for shoulder pose. Both feet to the floor, knees pointing toward the ceiling. Bring the heels as close to the buttocks as is comfortable for you. Have the feet about hip width apart. If you have socks on, you might actually get better grip with bare feet, but totally up to you. Soften through the small of the back. This one's not suitable for anyone with uncontrolled high blood pressure, a peptic or duodenal ulcer, an abdominal hernia, or if you're in the late stages of pregnancy. If any of those apply to you, please move into this position that Chloe's in now. But then for the rest of the practice, just visualize the practice occurring in time with your breath. Take the awareness into the back of the shoulders, shoulder blades, front of the throat. Eyes lightly closed, feeling into those areas. When you're ready to breathe in and slowly raise the buttocks, hips, pelvis up off the floor, coming up vertebra by vertebra as high as is comfortable for you, holding there. And when you're ready to breathe out, Breathing out, lowering the body vertebra by vertebra back down to the starting position. If you need a recovery breath or to adjust your foot position, do so. Otherwise, just as and when you're ready, breathing in, moving up slowly with full control through the hips and pelvis. Awareness with the shoulders, shoulder blades, front of the throat. Holding, inhaling down. Twice more in time with your own breath. Eyes slightly closed, awareness focused in those areas. Aim to eliminate any wobble through the hips and pelvis on the way back down to the floor, using the abdominal muscles to assist with this. If there's any pain or discomfort, perhaps visualize the practice, or perhaps don't go up as high. You only take the body up off the floor as high as is comfortable for you, where you can still maintain that control through the hips and pelvis. Again, this is excellent for releasing tension through the back and improving or strengthening the back muscles. Again, extremely useful if you're doing a lot of sitting. And the next time the back of the body returns to the floor, releasing to Shavasana. Take your time to finish, there's no hurry. When you move back to Shavasana or the relaxation pose, just make sure you take the time to release the arms, palms uppermost, feet hip width apart, feet falling gently out to the sides. Use a releasing breath to the abdominal muscles or the back muscles if you feel you need to. And then take a moment or two to become aware of how and where that practice affects you or has affected you today. And again, whether that's something that might be useful to build into your daily stretches or release from sitting. With the eyes open, roll carefully now so the front of the body is laying fully on the mat, with the forehead to the floor and the arms by the sides. Bring the palms underneath the thighs, and palms can be up or down or clenched if that's more comfortable for your body shape. If there's uncontrolled high blood pressure, this posture of the half locust pose may not be suitable for you or is not suitable for you. So again, you might choose to visualize this if you suffer with uncontrolled high blood pressure. If there's no neck issues, bring the chin to the floor. Any issues with the neck, return the forehead to the floor, and at any time throughout the practice, return the forehead to the floor if the neck becomes fatigued or causes you any pain. With the eyes lightly closed, take the awareness into the lower back and soften the lower back muscles. You will be using the back muscles to raise the leg, but have them soft at the moment. Breathing in, raise the left leg straight up off the floor to a maximum of 15 centimetres. Hold, and when you're ready to breathe out, lower the leg with full control back down to the floor. And repeat 4 further times with this same left leg. Chin to the floor, face forward, eyes lightly closed if that's suitable for your neck. If that's unsuitable for your neck, bringing the forehead to the floor at any time. And the leg and foot raising maximum of 15 centimetres to protect the lower back. You possibly can go higher, but it's not so great for the lower back if you do. The awareness with the muscles, the glutes running through the buttock, leg muscles, back muscles. And at the end of the 5th round, whenever that may be, there's no hurry. Use the breath to soften through the muscles of the back or the core muscles, wherever you may be feeling it, and feel through that left leg and back. And then just as and when you're ready, repeating 6 times to the right leg. Inhaling up with the knees straight, the leg is straight, maximum 15 centimetres. Holding for what's comfortable for you, exhaling down. With the next round, shift the awareness from the back and leg and glutes running through the buttocks to the abdomen and abdominal organs, hips and pelvis on the floor at the front of the body. Notice what they're doing with the raising of the leg. So again, this movement is suitable for period pain, constipation, wind pain for the same reason, feeling into that area of the body. And the next time the right leg returns to the floor, and there's no hurry, making that the last round. When you have completed that final round, release the hands from beneath the thighs. Return the forehead to the floor if your chin is still on the floor. Soften through the small of the back in particular. And use the breath. Take a long, slow, deep breath to anywhere that might be experiencing any tension after that practice, half locust. Soften into the floor. Feel through that right leg, abdominal area, lower back, and then both sides. And take the time to notice if there's a difference from one side to the other for you. With the eyes open, moving now carefully onto all fours, preparing for the catch pose. So come onto the knees. Take the time to bring the knees directly beneath the hips and have the knees about hip width apart, or perhaps a little wider. If the knees are too close together, you won't get the movement through the spine that you actually need to get the full benefit of this cat pose. Bring the wrists to be directly beneath the shoulders. And if there's any wrist issues, you might like to have the hands in clenched fists. This just takes some pressure off the wrists. So bringing the wrist back a little further toward the knees there. Beautiful. Have the head and neck in a straight line with the spine to begin with. And then when you're ready, breathing in, raising the head and tailbone toward the ceiling, and allow the spine to dip down in its natural curves. Breathing out when you're ready to breathe out, arching every single vertebra up toward the ceiling, tucking the buttocks in and under, head and neck falling as far as is comfortable for you. Draw the navel up toward the spine, eyes slightly closed. Breathing in, raising head and tailbone, spine dipping down naturally, elbows are straight, legs are still. Breathing out when you're ready to breathe out, arching up, buttocks in and under, navel to the spine. Have the eyes lightly closed, feel into the spine and continue in time with your own breath. Quite fluid through the spine, rhythmic. If there's any cardiac or heart conditions, uncontrolled high blood pressure, don't take the head any lower than the level of your own heart. So you won't be dipping your head, forehead, face around toward the chest. You'll be stopping when the head comes level with your own heart. If there's any vertigo or dizziness, you might also like to practice that measure as well. been practicing yoga for some time, feel into the front of the chest and throat and the abdominal muscles. If you're new to yoga and this practice, feel just into the spine and the back of the body for today. And after the next outward breath, when you go to breathe in, take the buttocks to the heels. Preparing to move into the resting pose of the child. So once the buttocks are on the heels, bring the knees wide enough apart that the upper body can come down. Slide the palms of the hands along the floor, coming fully outstretched and bringing the forehead to the floor. Just check you've made your knees far enough apart to allow this to occur. If there's any knee, ankle or hip issues and this is uncomfortable for you, come to any seated position of your choice on the mat. Aim that the buttocks are in contact with the heels. If there's any vertigo or discomfort here or uncontrolled high blood pressure or heart conditions, have the hands in clenched fists. Stack one fist on top of the other and bring them in under the forehead, so you actually rest the forehead on the stacked hands. This just elevates the head so that it's level with the heart. Also, if there's any neck issues or discomfort in that resting pose, you could also try this manoeuvre. In this resting pose of the child, the aim is that the whole upper body from the hips down are fully released, letting go into the floor. So with each outward breath, consciously soften further and further all muscles of the back, spine, shoulders, back of the neck, fully released into the floor. With the next inward breath, slide the palms along the floor and back up the thighs, coming back up to a seated position. If you're comfortable here, have the eyes lightly closed, taking the time to feel the effects of the cat pose and the resting pose of the child. If you're uncomfortable kneeling, move to any seated position and then close the eyes and reflect on the cat and the child's pose. Allowing the eyes to open, and if you are still kneeling, come now so the legs are outstretched in front of you, and you might like to use a cushion, bolster, block or rolled blanket underneath the sitting bones now. So that's a large bone that comes down from the pelvis, one each side into each buttock, and you want to be sitting on something just to elevate those a little so the pelvis tilts forward, and this enables you to be more upright through the spine, and it also eliminates that drag through the lower abdominal muscles. So taking the time to get whatever supports you need and put into place. Closing the eyes lightly, feel into the neck, roll the shoulders down and back a little and soften through the backs of the shoulders, shoulder blades and the back of the neck. And breathe in. Breathing out, gently drop the right ear toward the right shoulder, feeling into the neck. When you're ready to breathe in, coming back to the upright or neutral position for the head, neck and face. When you're ready to breathe out, gently dropping the left ear toward the left shoulder. Keep the upper body and shoulders still, all movement being generated by the neck. So just the head is moving. Continue on in time with your own breath. Feeling into the sides, front and back of the neck. Shoulders and body are still. The head and neck are moving. And the next time you come to the neutral, after having been to the left side, so that you've done an equal number to each side. Then resting comfortably in the neutral position, eyes remaining closed, feeling into the muscles of the neck and noticing if there was any differences for you between the left and the right sides. Allowing the eyes to open and taking the supports out now from beneath the sitting bones, and then bringing the feet quite wide apart, as wide as is comfortable for you. Bring the arms outstretched in front of you, interlocking the hands together, and have the arms at shoulder height. So this is for the mill churn. Take the awareness into the abdominal organs, tightening a little the abdominal muscles, and rest back, just finding your point of balance. So take the whole upper body back a little so you're resting through the hips and pelvis. And the next movements for this mill churning are generated through the hips. So there's no slumping forward through the lower back. It's all generated through the hips. So breathe in, breathe out, come forward over the right leg and foot, and then continue on in a circular motion. Breathing in as you come back, breathing out as you come forward. So it's quite slow. Keep the arms at shoulder height or the hands at shoulder height and fix the gaze on the hands. So this helps you keep the arms upright. And if you feel that it's not working your body hard enough, take the feet wider apart and you might like to rock further forward and back. If there's any lower back issues, you might have the feet quite close together. Aim that the backs of the knees stay firmly fixed on the floor. All movement generated through the hips. After the next outward breath, pause over that right leg and then reverse the direction. Still breathing in as you move back, breathing out as you move forward. And if there's no lower back issues, you might like to take that movement in quite a larger circle through the hips, and the feet can be quite far apart from each other or quite close together. As always, you do only what's suitable for your body on any particular day. Feeling in to the abdominal muscles, lower back, shoulders, keeping the arms elevated if possible. If there's any shoulder or neck issues, adjust this as you need to, or if the body begins to fatigue, adjust as you need. After the next outward breath, when you come over that right leg, let go of the movement, and then resting back on the hands or however is comfortable for you. Give the shoulders, elbows, hips or knees a little shrug or flex if you need to. And when you're ready, closing the eyes lightly, seated however's comfortable for you. Feel the effects of that practice. So the mill churn is an energy unblocking pose. Again, great for constipation, wind pain, period pain, but good for strengthening those areas of the muscles, shoulders and back, but good for the mind as well. The energy unblocking is energy within the body and the mind. So if you're quite stressed or stuck on a problem or something's getting you down, you can try any of the energy unblocking poses, and that's the one for today, mill churning. So bringing now the right thigh toward the chest and clasping the hands together on the body side of the knee. Bring the right foot up off the floor, and the foot and ankle can just stay in any position that's comfortable for you. Breathing in, raise the right foot in a semicircular movement. Breathing out as it comes down and around. So this is a knee crank. It might help you if you imagine those old-fashioned cars from the 20s that started with a crank handle at the front of the radiator. The movement won't actually be circular because of the restrictions on the movement through the knee. It's more like an oval. Breathing in on that upward half of the movement. Breathing out with the downward half. Awareness in the knee. So it's quite fluid. The hip and upper body are still. movement through the knee. After the next outward breath, reversing the direction. If it helps you to remain focused, have the eyes slightly closed and feel into the knee joint, sides of the knee, the back of the knee cap. And after the next outward breath, no hurry as usual, release then the right leg to be fully outstretched on the floor. Give the knee a little rub or a shake or a jiggle if you need to. And then sitting comfortably, that might be resting back on the hands for you, with the eyes remaining lightly closed, feel into that right knee. Notice if there's any sensations within the joint, the movement of prana or energy. And then as you're ready, lifting now the left thigh toward the chest, clasping the back of the left thigh on the body side of the knee, raising the left foot up off the floor, just having the ankle in a foot in a position that's comfortable for you throughout. And when you're ready, breathing in on the upward half of the movement, breathing out on the downward, awareness in that left knee. So it's intentionally slow, in time with the breath, so that you can focus within the knee, the muscles of the knee, the sensations within the knee. These practices are anti-arthritic, but also unblocking of toxins within the joints. After the next outward breath, reversing the direction. And after the next outward breath, letting go of the movement altogether, releasing the left leg to the floor, giving that left knee, hip, thigh, whatever you may need, a little shake or rub. And just when you're ready, sitting comfortably, feeling into the left knee. Sensations, warmth, tingling, all signs of the movement of prana. But notice also the degree of movement you have on that side. Notice any differences between the left and the right. With the eyes open, moving now to a standing position. Bring the feet to about hip width apart and point the toes in a little, almost as though you're slightly pigeon-toed. This protects the knees in this next twisting movement, Katishakrasana, waist rotating pose. Bring the arms outstretched at shoulder height and stretch further between the fingertips. Breathe in, breathing out, turning to look beyond the right shoulder, bringing the back of the right hand to the back of the waist and the left hand to the right shoulder. Breathing in when you're ready, coming back to the centre or neutral position, and when you're ready, breathing out, rotating in the opposite direction. Continue on in time with the breath. If it doesn't affect your balance, have the eyes lightly closed and feel through the waist, hips, shoulders, neck. If it does affect your balance, have the eyes open, but have the awareness in those areas of the body that are twisting, being stretched on one side, compressed on the other. Make sure the toes stay lightly or slightly turned in to protect the knees. You breathe in and come to the neutral. Take the time to stretch further between the fingertips before moving on. That just allows the shoulders and shoulder blades to also have a full stretch and twist, but it also helps strengthen through the arm muscles. If you started by looking over the right shoulder first, The next time you come back to the centre after looking over the left, so that you've done an equal number, breathing into that centre with the outward breath, releasing the arms to the sides, releasing the knees and the feet, and just standing comfortably with the eyes closed, feeling the effects of that practice. All of the twisting poses help the body release physical tension, but are also good for the mind to release tension from the mind. So again, if the mind is feeling a little knotty or twisted or struggling with a problem, any twisting pose can assist with that. That last movement is also good if you're at the desk for a lot of the day or a computer screen. It releases the shoulders, neck and back muscles. So standing comfortably now with the feet just in a position that is comfortable for you, perhaps just a little way apart for the next forward bend. So all forward bends are driven through the hips. So again, should be no lower back pain at all. Tuck the buttocks in and under and the chin toward the back of the neck. Elongate through the spine, so you might like to imagine as though a puppeteer was above you, gently pulling on a cord at the crown of the head, just straightening or stretching through the spine. Roll the shoulders down and back a little again. Muscles of the face are soft. Breathing in, bring the arms overhead and the wrists are bent so the hands are parallel to the floor. Breathe out, slowly come forward, bending from the hips, not the lower back. Bringing the arms, and as you get to your tipping point, letting go, fully releasing, arms swinging, head, face and neck hanging down, moving toward the sides. Bend the knees if you need to, then straighten the knees to get the stretch through the backs of the legs. Breathing in, coming up. Arms overhead, the wrists are bent. When you're ready, breathe out, coming forward to your tipping point if you like. Let go, hanging and swinging. Face forward. Any high blood pressure, vertigo, uncontrolled heart conditions, don't take the head any lower than the level of the heart. When you're ready, breathing in, coming up. So the lungs filling actually help propel the body back up. Breathing out, slowly forward bend from the hips, absolute no lower back pain. Knees are bent, hanging and swinging, releasing all muscles of the upper back and spine. Straighten the knees if you want the further stretch through the hamstrings. This time as you breathe in and come up, then with that next outward breath, just release the arms in a sideways arc back to beside the body. Release or soften through the legs. And then standing comfortably with the eyes closed, feeling the effects of that forward bend. Forward bends are excellent for releasing stress, letting go. So if you've had a tense or anxious day, they're a great way to shut out the world and bring some calmness into the mind and body. Excellent to do before going to bed. So that completes the movement part of the class. The final 10 minutes or so will be 5 minutes of breathing and then 5 minutes of a relaxation technique. So the breathing today will be done from lying. So feel free to allow the eyes to open and move to a lying position, which will be Shavasana. If you need supports beneath the neck, shoulders, hips, buttocks or knees, feel free to add those in. And the body temperature will cool down. So feel free to add either socks, an extra jumper, a blanket, whatever is suitable for you. And take the time to make sure you are actually warm enough and comfortable. If you suffer with lower back pain, you can try something, either a small cushion or rolled towel beneath the small of the back, the hips or the pelvis, but the other place is also beneath the knees. And by altering the angle of the knees and taking the weight of the thighs through the knees, it actually reduces the back pain. So that can be worth trying as well if you're struggling with that at home. So once you are comfortable, just check that you are in Shavasana, feet hip width apart, falling gently out to the sides, arms a little away, palms uppermost. Wriggle the shoulders down towards the feet and soften through the shoulder blades. Head and neck in a straight line with the spine. And take now 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And with each outward breath, allow the body to release into the floor, melting into the floor, if you like. And after the next outward breath, letting go of that practice, soften all the muscles of the face, around the eyelids, the back of the eyes, the nostrils, around the lips. You might like to lightly wriggle the lower jaw, and then rotate the tongue around the inside of the mouth. And perhaps try lightly then curling the tip of the tongue toward the roof. And notice how or if that affects your facial muscles, in particular the jaw muscles. The jaw muscles are one of the strongest in the body, and they often hold a lot of tension unknowingly and can cause headaches and neck pain originating from those strong jaw muscles. So that technique, if you find it useful, rotating the mouth, rotating the tongue, wriggling the jaw, curling the tip of the tongue. Anytime you feel stressed, anxious, or that there is tension held in those facial muscles, you can do that anywhere, anytime, while you're driving, while you're at the computer, while you're stressed or angry with whatever it might be. Practice that for a moment or two. So just allowing the tongue now to rest wherever's comfortable for you. Begin to bring the awareness to the breath. Feel the rise of the chest with the breath in, the fall of the chest with the breath out. Chest rising, chest falling, chest rising, chest falling. Continue observing this movement with each and every breath. And after the next outward breath, let go of observing that movement at the chest and shift the awareness now to the nostrils. Become aware of the sensation of the breath as it enters the body at the nostrils. We're breathing in and out all day, every day, often totally unnoticed by the conscious mind. So tune into that sensation now, the movement of the air at the nostrils. Notice if the air is flowing equally through both nostrils, or if perhaps one nostril seems to be more free-flowing than the other. Begin to observe now the temperature of the breath at the nostrils. Is it warmer or cooler when it leaves the nostrils, as opposed to its temperature when it entered at the nostrils? How far away do you think that breath actually is drawn in from with the breath in? How far away is it moving with the breath out? Tuning in to that movement and how far that movement might be with each breath in and out. And after the next outward breath, let go of observing the breath at the nostrils. Allow the breath to return to its natural, easy state. So that simple breath awareness technique you can also practice at any time, day or night, particularly if you're having trouble sleeping, or again the mind is racing and you just feel you need to be grounded or more settled. Just bringing the awareness, mindfulness to the body in that way, very simply releasing physical tension, softening the body, relaxing, and then beginning to focus on the breath. Again, a technique you can use at any time. So checking now that you are actually comfortable. If you do need to move or adjust any supports or get any further layers of clothing, feel free to do that now. If you've had to make any adjustments, resume this clip when you're ready. And checking once more that you are in Shavasana, feet hip width apart, falling gently out to the sides, arms a little away, palms uppermost or lightly turned toward the body, fingers lightly curled, but certainly neither the palms or hands in contact, in contact with anything at all. This allows the body to fully disengage from everything sensory. Head and neck in a straight line with the spine. Soften the muscles of the face, eyes, nostrils, lips. Wriggle the shoulders down towards the feet and soften through the shoulder blades, the back of the neck. Soften now through the small of the back, the buttocks, the backs of the legs. Take 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And with each outward breath, allow the body to soften once more, fully into the floor. Letting go. the next outward breath, letting go of this practice if you haven't already. And with the eyes remaining lightly closed, the lips lightly closed, bring the awareness once more back to the movement of the chest with each breath. Chest rising with the breath in, chest falling toward the spine or the floor with the breath out, rising with the breath in, falling with the breath out, following this movement for the next few breaths. Focusing on the movement of the chest. No stress or strain. Just becoming aware of that movement within what is otherwise a still body. And with the next inward breath, begin counting down this breath at the chest in the following way. With the breath in, stating mentally, chest rising 9. With the breath out, stating mentally, chest falling 9. With the next breath in, stating mentally, chest rising 8. With your own natural breath out, chest falling 8. With the next breath in whatever time frame is suitable, chest rising 7. With the breath out, chest falling 7. The next breath in, chest rising 6. With the following breath out, chest falling 6. And continue this mental countdown with each and every breath. If the mind should wander, bring it back to the count of the breath at the chest. If even a single breath is missed, or the count is lost, or 0 is reached, begin again, counting down from 9. Counting down the breath at the chest. If the count is lost, a breath is missed, or 0 is reached, begin again at 9. Counting down at the chest. After the next outward breath, let go of the count. Let go of the attention on that movement at the chest and allow the breath to return to its natural, easy state. Become aware of the body lying on the floor.
feel into the back of the head, the shoulders, the buttocks, the backs of the legs and the heels. Notice the weight of the clothing or blankets on the body. Become aware of the dimensions that your body takes up on the floor. Become fully aware of the room that you're in, where the windows are, where the doors are. Taking a long, slow, deep breath in to re-energize the body. You might like to also begin to gently move the fingers and toes. Perhaps turn the head and neck gently from side to side to reawaken the physical body. If you feel you need another long, deep breath in, you might like to coordinate that with a full body stretch, stretching the arms overhead, pushing the heels away from the body and bringing the toes toward the head. If you feel you need to release the muscles of the lower back, you might like to bring both knees toward the chest, clasping the knees or the shins, making small circular movements with the knees, or perhaps just rocking and rolling gently from side to side, whatever feels most comfortable for you, and whatever techniques you feel you need to employ to reawaken the body and release in particular the back of the body after having lied on the floor. And when you're ready, rolling onto the right side with the eyes remaining closed, perhaps reflecting for a moment or two on how you're feeling, what was useful, what you perhaps might to incorporate into your daily life or to use either in bed or before you go to bed to help with sleep. I hope you're all managing to sleep okay and that your sleep patterns aren't too disturbed at this time. And as you're ready, coming to a seated position. If you're feeling quite internalized, feel free to keep the eyes closed and then rub the palms together, palms of the hands, until they're actually hot. When they are hot, cup the hands in a V shape and hold them over the eyes, and then you open the eyes into the warmth and depth of the cupped hands. The eyelids don't actually touch the fingers, the hands are cupped. If you feel you need to do that again, perhaps 2 or 3 times, feel free. And then when you're ready, allowing the eyes to open. And thank yourself for participating in a yoga class and hopefully bringing some calm back to both the body and mind. And I hope you go on to have a great day. Thanks very much. Stay well, everyone. Thanks, Chloe. Enjoy your day. Thank you.